Kelsey Russo, the Athletic. Sorry. What stood out the way, especially defensively, you guys handled Giannis?
I mean, I don't know if handled's the word, right? We gave up. But I thought everybody competed, and, his buckets were tough buckets. I mean, he's one of the most forceful, if not the most forceful player in our league. And like I've said it before, like, he's built for the way the rules are. He's extremely difficult to stop, but I thought we did a good job of challenging, contesting. We tried to take charges on him. But what we did, I thought, we eliminated other people. And, that's when they're at their best, is when he's attack-minded, and then everybody else is contributing too. And I thought we did a great job of taking the other guys out of the game.
That first half, it seemed like there was a lot of energy from the get-go. In the second half, what did you see of the way that you guys battled through that as they made their runs and just and were able to pull this one out?
Yeah, I thought we held our poise. They're a championship team, right? They're not going to give in. They're going to make their runs. I think in the past, we haven't been able to sustain their runs. Tonight, I think, was a great step for us. We showed a lot of poise. We kept our composure. But the thing that was most impressive to me is we continued to do it together. There was no splintering. There was not one guy trying to do it on his own. We just went back to the basics and executed our stuff and got the looks we wanted.
Building off of that, with the togetherness, how have you seen that grow just throughout the season so far, but just especially as you find these games where it is really accentuated?
Well, I think it's about the trust. When you have a newer group of guys and a young group of guys who are still, exploring who they are. To start the season, people are trying to figure out that trust piece of it. And, I think they're believing in one another, and they trust one another to do the right things by each other all the time. We live with some mistakes because that's going to happen. But when mistakes happen with this group, we don't fold, right? We don't collapse. We find a way to band together even more. And that's the trust that you have to have in order to be a successful team.
Tom, you answered a lot of what I was going to ask J.B. about the poise. In the first half, Evan goes out quick. Kevin comes in and gives you 9 real good minutes there. How big a lift was that just to kind of get things settled down, what have you?
I think, he did a great job on both ends. He has the ability, obviously, to make shots, but he can make plays. He rebounds the ball to finish possessions. But, again, he's one of our guys that's a spark for us off the bench and can give us that lift. And, when he's hitting threes, the guys feel it, and it raises the energy. When he's giving those backdoor passes and, creating for other people, the guys feel it. So I think, it's important that we get him involved and continue to keep him involved.
Poise only gained through experience?
Yeah, you have to understand what you're facing, in order to understand how to react. And until you go through it enough, you don't know what it is. And you don't know, individually and collectively, how do you get through it and get to the next step until somebody punches you in the face. And then you got to respond. I thought we did a great job of responding tonight.
Chris
Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, JB.
What's up, Chris?
We talked a lot pregame about Drew Holiday, his defense, Brook Lopez's defense, but Jarrett Allen is in that conversation as well. What makes him such an impactful defender for you guys?
He can do everything on that end of the floor. He's an elite rim protector. He's a shot blocker. He can defend the pick and roll. He can switch and guard smaller guys. He can guard big guys. We've used him to chase guys off the three-point line. It's just his ability to do so many different things. And it's also, that goes back to the trust that everybody has in him. Like, they know he's going to be there to have their back. So it allows our defense to function, at the level that it's capable of, because we know, and the guys know, that Jarrett's going to be there to protect them.
Why do you think he doesn't get the same level of recognition as some of his peers?
I think it's, he's not as public about who he is and what he's looking for. Every day he just goes out and does his job. I don't know, how many TV commercials he has and, social media and all that stuff. But I think he plays a type of basketball that, it's not flashy, it's not pretty. They won't give him his own sneaker deal, but we know how important he is. And if you watch, and I think that's the tough part about it is, a lot of people don't watch the game, as they say they do. Because if you watch the game, and this isn't just this year, like to me, there's no way last year he wasn't on an all-defensive team. But if you watch the game, like you understand how impactful he is. Last year we had like one national TV game or something, so people weren't watching him. And you got to study a guy like him to understand how valuable he is.
Spencer Davies, basketball.com. On the offensive end, it looked like he was available in the pocket all night. Going back to that vertical spacing conversation that we had before, opening things up for Darius and Donovan, you can get the pull-up and you can get the runners there on the right side. Just how much does that make it easier on your offense to kind of, going forward?
Well, obviously he's a threat, and teams have to make decisions what they're willing to live with. Milwaukee is one of the teams that they try to bait you into a bunch of mid-range shots or floaters by keeping that big in the drop. We're lucky that our guys are capable of making those shots at an elite level. And, he can make that little shot in the pocket. Our ball handlers can make the pull-ups, at a high clip. So, again, it's going to force them to make some sort of adjustments. And I think we saw that late, and then we have to be prepared for the adjustments.
Third straight start for Isaac and knocked down a couple early. But the one that stood out to me was the one where he pump faked and put it on the floor and found a teammate. Just having the threat of him shooting from the corner, what does that do just for kind of the wrinkles that you can throw in?
Well, obviously it helps your spacing. But Isaac's a really good basketball player. And I think, we've asked him to be in a specific role, but Isaac is good with the ball in his hands. He's good at attacking closeouts. He's a really good passer. I think it's just, he's accepted a role for the greater good of the team, where the ball's not in his hands as much. Obviously because of the guys that we have around him. But Isaac's a really good basketball player, and he's capable of making all types of plays.
Danny Cunningham, ESPN Cleveland. J.B., what made Donovan so good tonight despite maybe having a bit of an off night shooting the ball?
He didn't quit, and he understood how to get himself to the free throw line to get himself going. A lot of times, and Milwaukee in the past against us has upped their physicality, and we've kind of backtracked a little bit. I thought tonight, through their physicality, he kept attacking and keep getting downhill, and got 16 free throws. I don't know if he's had that many free throws this year for us, but when they're going to be physical, you got to stay attack minded. I think he did that tonight.
I don't know if you got the thumbs up from the bench on the challenge or not before you signaled to challenge it, but in that moment, how much trust do you have on the guy that was involved in the play, where Kevin was pretty adamant that he wanted you to make them take a look at that call?
Each guy is different. But again, Kevin doesn't ask for it much. So it was, take a gamble with him, and he's one of the guys that I'll gamble with all the time.
Joe G, Kazakh, Coach, you talked pregame about what a tough matchup Brook Lopez was. And he's already had a big game against us this year. What did you guys do against him tonight?
I think we got him off the three-point line. He's hurt us in the past, in the pick and roll game and out in space by knocking down threes. We held him. He just got 3 of them tonight. He made a couple of them, but, normally in the past he's gotten up, 6, 7, 8, and that's been deadly for us because now we're stretched out more. We're worried about his 3, and then Giannis can go create and do what he needs to do. So I think, getting him off that three-point line was huge.
John Miller, Sports Illustrated Media Group. Coach, with the way that you guys have played at home this year, did you maybe have a different level of comfort or confidence coming into this one, knowing that you had them on your home floor? You can kind of flush the other two.
Yeah, you learn from the other two. But, again, our guys have fed off our crowd all year long. So the difference is, in moments where, there is a little adversity, you've got this crowd behind us and we've got our fans behind us. And I thought that was huge for us. When you're on the road and sometimes you can be searching for that energy, it's harder. But having our fans behind us, every single time something happened, our crowd got behind us and got us going. And that's the momentum that we've been feeding off all year.
Last one, Chris.
JB, you said before the game that you wanted to give Milwaukee your best punch. Do you feel this qualifies?
Hopefully we got more in the tank. I thought we played well. Again, the third quarter, our defense, I thought we gave up a little too much. But, it's a step in the right direction. And our job is to continue to improve. And I hope that this isn't our best game of the season because we do have room to grow, and I expect us to continue to grow.